Welcome, everybody. This is Charles Kuck, managing partner here at Kuck Baxter Immigration. It's great to be with you today. We had our impact litigation live last night, so I don't see a need to go into all the cases today, since we just gave everybody an update last night. Of course, we'll answer any questions you have, but I really wanted to spend some time today talking about the legislation that is bouncing around Congress on immigration, and reports over the last couple of days that maybe the Democrats will attach it to, a reconciliation bill. Let's have a real conversation today about this. I've been doing this for 32 years, since the last change in immigration law in 1990. That's really the last time that we made changes to our legal immigration system. And 1996 was the last time we actually made changes to, let's call it the removal punishment side of immigration. There have been tweaks every now and then, but we haven't really made any significant changes in an entire generation. We actually live in a very different world, both economically from 1990 and 1996, and immigration-wise from 1990 and 1996. So we are due for a substantial immigration upgrade and change. So what are they talking about? Well, of course, the House has already passed the Dream and Promise Act. The Dream and Promise Act is really interesting, and I want to pull something up here to talk to you about, so that you know what is in these two bills, and what it means for people for these to pass. Now, this passed the House already. So what's in it? All right. So the Dream and Promise Act does this. If you've been in the United States, you got here before January 1, 2021, you were 18 or younger when you came into the United States, you don't have any criminal grounds of removal, there's no valid basis, and there's no basis to kick you out of the country. You don't have any conviction of any kind in which you are punished by more than 1 year in prison, or 3 other types of offenses that aggravate to 90 days or more in jail, and you don't have a domestic violence charge, because that keeps you out of there. And you have a high school diploma or a GED or an industry recognized credential of some kind, go through a background check, basically you will get a green card. Okay, basically you're going. But in order to get that green card, you have to then acquire a degree from a U.S. university, okay, or complete 2 years of military service, or be employed for a total of 3 years working in the United States. So this actually is it's not DACA. I mean, DACA is a very different type of thing, which was very more general. This is literally residence in the United States. So good thing. All right, this is a good thing. Now, the promise part of the act are for people with TPS or DED. So basically, you had to have TPS on September 17th, 2017 or earlier, or DED, deferred enforced departure, which is what everybody on TPS that was canceled by Trump had on January 2021. So if you got TPS after Biden became president, this does not apply to you. All right? So basically, what you do with this is recipients of these bills would ultimately obtain permanent residence in the United States. I mean, that's a pretty good bill as far as that goes. Now, that's passed the House. It has zero chance in and of itself of passing the Senate. Zero chance of passing the Senate at this point. Now, why? Well, because there aren't 10 Republicans that will vote for it. It's actually pretty simple. There's no Republicans that will vote for it. Not going to pass. All right, it's really, really kind of simple. Now, what they're talking about is attaching the Dream and Promise Act to what's called a reconciliation bill. A reconciliation bill is a bill that is focused on budgetary and economic issues that can be voted on the Senate and is not subject to the 60-vote threshold of the filibuster. So 50 Democrats, which there are, could vote for this bill. Vice President Harris could vote for the bill, and the bill would then, if then passed by the House, which it would be, which already has been, if it's the same bill, it goes to the president for signature. But the bill itself could use some changes. It could use some updates. The bill includes, by the way, legal dreamers. These are the kids that came here before they were 18, and then they're aging out under E, H, or L categories. So and of course, they get a conditional resident. They have to complete the condition. They just basically have to work. So again, the protection for TPS people, this is a good thing. It would also cancel people who have deportation orders would be canceled. They would be considered as being admitted and inspected. And they could begin the process of legalizing in the United States for employment, for example. So there's some good stuff here. But I just don't see the Democrats getting their act together sufficiently to pass this. I mean, just don't see it happening. And what other bills are out there? Well, we have the agricultural worker bill, which is, I think it's called the Agricultural Adjustment Act, or let's take a look at that. This is the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, which changes the H-2A program, ultimately gives temporary residence to people that are in the United States. It solves, I guess that's a different bill. So I'm looking at the worker legalization. That's what I want. This is the one I want here. So this bill, which is, again, already also passed the House in December of 2019, would pass today. Yeah, it's Farm Workforce Modernization Act. I thought I had it right. I thought I was going crazy. But basically, it gives folks a way forward for agricultural workers to immigrate to the United States, to be able to live here permanently without having to go through the rigmarole of this bill. Again, have to go through the House. Now, there actually are a number of Republicans who support this bill, but here's the problem. What happens is they don't vote on standalone bills. The DREAM Act, if maybe that would get 10 Republican votes. The Promise Act probably would. The Ag Worker bill would probably get 10 Republican votes. But the problem is they won't vote on these at one time. They're going to vote on them at different times. And voting on them at different times means all at the same time, is that they're not going to support the bill. If somebody they don't like it, I just vote no. And so what Bernie Sanders has now announced is that, look, he wants to roll these immigration bills, along with several others, into a reconciliation, the budget package, to get through the House with purely Democratic votes, along with infrastructure and all this. They call it the $6 trillion bill. It's like $6 trillion man, Bernie Sanders. I think there's zero chance that even you get 50 Democratic votes on that, by the way. But he could put in there something like a bill to increase legal immigration. Actually, that bill, oddly enough, back in 2004, was put into a reconciliation bill and ultimately passed reconciliation. So there's actually a history of the Senate allowing an immigration bill to increase legal immigration because it's an economic impact in a reconciliation package. So they've historically done it. They could do it again. But, I think ultimately the problem is that Republicans play to keep, play for keeps. They play to win. Democrats don't know how to do that. This is a joke that Democrats could screw up a one-car parade. They just don't have a way to lead on this stuff. If Schumer had any guts, he would just say, we're going to put the filibuster on the floor, or we're going to just pass the Voting Rights Act by reconciliation. We're just going to do this stuff. Or look, the idea that we can have a vote to whether to vote on something or make somebody filibuster something, we'll make them filibuster it. So these are the things that concern me as a lawyer. Is once again, you have one party obstructing and another party refusing or unable to lead. And you got a president who's just apparently not that interested in this. I think the Democrats are going to get killed in the midterm because of this, because everybody's going to say, well, they won't even work hard to pass their own priorities. Why should I vote for them? That's kind of where we are on immigration policy, on immigration laws. A lot of people call me about the Eagles Act. You know, you got to name a bill that's unpalatable for an eagle, and then it'll pass, right? You know, that's the bill that would lift all the country caps without increasing the numbers, making everybody wait enormous amounts of time instead of one country. You know, so rather than dealing with it, you know, we're just going to make everybody suffer. I mean, that's the idea of people behind that bill. That bill's not going to pass. It has basically no co-sponsors in the Senate. It's not going anywhere. Zero chance of passage. But what will happen is, of course, our litigation on the for a lot of folks that are stuck in this backlog who filed adjustments in December last year. We're filing that lawsuit in the next couple of weeks to force immigration to use the numbers. They're going to let over 100,000 EB numbers waste away because of their incompetence and their inability to do their work, I guess. And that's worse than not changing the law, because we're just wasting numbers at this point when people could have reduced the backlog by 20%. So join us in that lawsuit. Let's take a look here. We got some questions today. Let's see what we got. Yassine, good to see you. Hope things are well. Daniel Siga, is it true that be disabled? I don't even know what you're talking about. Fifth, be disabled. Maybe you want to rephrase that question. DV 2020 is out there interviewing people, and we're going to win our lawsuit, and we're going to reserve numbers. So if you're referring to the other lawsuit, it's a class action. Again, it's not our lawsuit. We're not part of it. Presumably, class actions would allow people to join that lawsuit if they wanted to, dismiss their current litigation, entirely up to them. It hasn't even been certified yet, so I don't know what that's going to happen in that case, but I'm not really following it because we're fighting for our clients. All right. Levian, how fast do you think Casey could implement a judge's order? Well, we know it won't take a month for our clients, because we know through a list we gave to the government and from things the government counsel has said that they are identifying our clients' cases such that when the order comes down, the interviews will be rapid. All right, that's what I think. Akif, good to see you. Senate Democrats plan to put immigrants in the country illegally as part of a sweeping infrastructure bill they hope to enact on a partisan basis this year. Well, I just spent time talking about that and don't think they're going to have any luck doing it. While they may also include a legalization plan for everybody else, I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. Now, if I was in charge, I would do a couple things. I would eliminate 212A9. I would just eliminate 212A9, which gets rid of the permanent bar and the waiver needed for visa overstays. You get rid of that one provision, many people can fix their status through employment or through family. I mean, my guess is we could probably fix 80% of undocumented immigrants by eliminating those two provisions in the law. All right. Pierre, we still need parole in place for relatives, please. Police relatives. So you want to expand parole in place beyond military to spouse, family of military to family of police. I don't have any problem doing that. I don't think they're going to do that, though. Yassine Ben Abadiz, Goj, when do you hit a judge's decision? Our guess, and we've said this many times before, is probably by the end of July, is our guess. Daniel, where do you hear these things? No, it's not true. Good to see you, Brandon. Barat Tapa, reserve visas. As everybody knows, because we've said it on every broadcast, there's no news on Gomez. Nothing. And we're fighting for more visas. That's the only news. But there's no news. Either way, conditional residence for 10 years. Well, for the DREAM Act, no, it's 3 years. I mean, within 3 years, you have to get a degree, or you can join the military for 2 years, or you can do a job for 3 years. And so you get the conditions removed. But yes, for the TPS thing, it would be conditional residence for 3 years. Good day after winning the Go case. Will the embassy? Well, we don't know yet how that's going to work. My guess is they will reach out to the plaintiffs through us or through your current lawyers or to you directly to get you schedules. Lucia, reps will not let it pass till the border is secured. Well, Republicans, yeah. You know, it's a false narrative. First of all, Republicans can't stop it. Only Democrats could stop it if they go through reconciliation. But it's a false narrative. Trump didn't secure the border. Didn't stop illegal immigration. You know, it's funny. If you pass immigration reform and make immigration easy, you won't have undocumented immigrants. Anybody think of that recently? Yeah, we have for years. Let's say, Elizabeth, and the expedition between 99 days left. 99 bottles of beer on the wall, baby. Don't know about the class action. We're not doing a class. We have our Go plaintiffs that we're representing, and we will be successful. I do believe that all visas will be issued for all of our plaintiffs, as they were in Gomez. They were all issued, except for the people who couldn't travel. They literally couldn't leave their country to go to the embassy that was going to do them. So there we are. Also, the Eagle Act, yeah, I don't think, well, first of all, there's not a lot of support for the Eagle Act. Very little support. Nobody in the Senate's carrying the water on that. And I don't think the Eagle Act's going to pass. Plus, it's very damaging to everybody else in the world. A better bill would be to just simply increase the immigrant visa numbers over a period of time and simply allot those to the backlog. So you can keep the worldwide numbers and simply say, look, everybody can adjust status now. So as long as your I-140 is approved, you can adjust status, get your adjustment application, and that makes you portable, etc. And then allocate, let's say, 100,000 visas a year beyond the normal to reduce that backlog. That's a much better solution than punishing the rest of the world as part of it. Mariette Issa, good morning, Go Plaintiff in Lebanon. Well, if you're a plaintiff, then you have a chance to be interviewed. That's how it works. That's how we're going to do the case. So, good question, Marietta. DeClorx, you miss your homeland. I'm sorry. I don't know where your homeland is, DeClorx. Pierre, Republicans say they don't want, we don't call people illegals. People are undocumented. Pierre, if you watched me for any length of time, you know both parties are terrible on immigration. They're both terrible. They both use it. Both parties use immigration as a weapon. They use it as a weapon against the other party and to try to gin up their votes on their side. But this is not an unfixable issue. This is easily fixable, and you've got 70% of Americans that want to fix it. But once you fix it, you can't use it as a weapon, can you? There you go. The last list which was sent was not correct. I don't know what you're talking about because we never sent you the list that we sent to the government. So that's not correct. Adem, Atlanta, US has many. That's a good question, Adem. Why is the local Atlanta office, after interview, not adjudicating the cases? That's something that we're going to have to ask the local office about at our next liaison meeting, which I think is going to come up. And it's the first liaison meeting in a number of years to find out why that's happening. But if it's been more than 2 months, I would sue them. They have a legal obligation to make a decision in a reasonable period of time. And 2 months is more than reasonable in the context of somebody being interviewed already. Michael, how are you, Michael? I'm a plaintiff in Milligan, too. Speaking of increased amount of counsel, sees our success is pegged to Ramirez. Oh, you're talking about, no, it's not pegged to Ramirez because the Milligan case is also moving forward. What we talked about, Michael, in our litigation is that Ramirez simply brings home the attack directly against the consulate. So we think we'll get a Milligan decision before we get a Ramirez decision. That's kind of where we are. We have sent around, I don't know which pleadings you want, but all pleadings are not available on Pacer because immigration pleadings have to be redacted before they're shared publicly. But if you want to reach out to Greg's firm, I think we have most of the pleadings at this point that have been redacted. All right. Henny, can you tell some of the government argument used to ask for dismiss? The government doesn't think that we have any right to demand that they do their job. That's the government's position. They think they have a right to not issue visas. That's the government's position. The government thinks that they can take as much time as they want to adjudicate cases. That's their position. The government thinks they're not required to issue all the visas. That's the government position. All those positions are wrong. So, government position. Are visa use processing faster? No. They are not processing faster, but if you have a visa U pending, you can now ask for your work permit. So you should call your lawyer. If we're your lawyer, call us, and we're reaching out to all our U visa clients as well to say, hey, let's apply for your work permit now. Get what's called a bona fide determination. From the time of filing, that will probably take about 4 months, but general U processing is not going any faster than 5 years. So that's why we're going to get that work permit. All right, DV 2021 news. Already talked about that, Nicholas. Ferdinand Tuku, what is going on with Gomez? You know my position. I wanted to have, I was agreeable to have the hearing on July 13th, but everybody's like, no, can't wait that long. And now it's June 23rd. And there is no hearing date set for Gomez. So I don't know. It's not my case. We have the Acker case. We were prepared to go forward on Acker on that day. We'll see what Judge Mehta does on July 13th with our Go case. Jesús, mi aplicación para solo fue recibida en noviembre y hoy están procesando desde enero. Yo no tengo respuesta. Debes llamar al número 800 para averiguar lo que está pasando en su caso, Jesús. I am Go plaintiffs. I have $2 American citizens. No, has no impact on your DV case. None whatsoever. Lucia Vega, Democrats just haven't come out to a bill. Well, Lucia, there is no bill that the Republicans will agree to. It doesn't exist. It's like a unicorn or a dragon. They don't exist. We would like them to exist. It would be really cool if they existed, but they don't, and they never will. There will never be an immigration bill that the Republicans in Congress today will accept as a majority of Republicans. That doesn't exist. It will never happen other than a bill to eliminate immigration. And they would all vote for that. So the idea that you can negotiate with Republicans today that are in Congress is simply not true. It's a myth. So don't hold your breath. That's not going to happen. Can we join the Go Final Hearing? Yes, we will let everybody know out what that number is. So everybody will be able to come in. They may limit it to 500 people. I don't know. That's what happened last time. VP is headed to the border on Friday. Who cares? Really, who cares? She's been to the border before, just not as vice president. And what are they going to show? They're going to do a tour. There's this, there's that. So what? The border issue is not an issue. That's a made-up issue by Republicans looking for a way not to pass reform. It's, as my dad would say, no big deal. All right. We've got a question here from Esther Cipriano. How positive you're about Penn versus Blinken? Oh, we're going to win. We're going to win that lawsuit. But the question is when. When is that result going to be? And as we said yesterday, I can't give you any date certain by which that will happen. All right. COVID in Arequipa. Oh man, lo siento, Marlena. Arequipa, for those who don't know, is one of the most beautiful cities in the world in southern Peru. It's known as the White City, La Ciudad Blanca, or the City of Eternal Spring. It's always like 75 degrees there. It's beautiful. But Peru, unfortunately, is getting destroyed by COVID. Peru's rate, the rate of people dying from COVID, is, if it was in the United States, would mean that we would have 6 million people dead when we only have 600,000. We'd have 10 times the deaths if our country was like Peru. So clearly a massive failure by the political leadership in that country. No wonder they voted for a communist for president. Yasmin, yo apliqué para mi visa. Yo ya puse huellas, nada más que me dio la carta con mis papeles. Los pasaron. Ok, Yasmin, pero tú puedes aplicar por un permiso de trabajo. Llama a su abogado ahorita para hacerlo. Now, remember, you guys, you can also call us for a consult. We're here. Puedes llamar por una consulta. Siempre estamos listos para hacer sus preguntas. So we do consults for people who have cases they want help processing or understanding better their case. Gives us time to talk either on Zoom or in person or by phone so they can better understand the case and how we can help them move their case forward. All right, Yasmin. Murat, good to see you. Let's see. Esther Cipriana, I also received an email from the Rio Council not doing non-immigrant visa appointments. No, K1 is an immigrant visa, Esther. K1 is processed by the immigrant. So this means actually they should be able to process the case faster. If they're not doing non-immigrant visas, which is also not true because they're doing student visas and visitor visas, but they would mean they have more people available to do K1. So it's actually good news if true. All right. Masina said, can a mandamus like go finish in SCOTUS? We're not going to the Supreme Court. This case is never going there. That's never going to happen. May DG, Casey's a long delay with mail for yes, we know that, 5 weeks. People who said to the doctor, not your receipt. Yes, we know. May this year already. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to tell the judge that KCC is already processing DV 2022 without processing DV 2021. He is not going to be happy. May, if you've got proof of them doing that, I would love you to send that to us. That would be, as they say in the high schools, totally awesome. All right. Luis Carlos, Prensa Atlanta, Vicepresidente, will make her first visit. Yeah. It's not her first visit. She's been there before as a senator, just not as vice president. What's she going to see? What is it, a tourist trip? Hey, there's Mexico right across the river. See those tents? We forced people to live in those tents for 4 years because Trump hated immigrants. Oh, yeah, people are coming across the border and asking for asylum because our laws let them. Because we're not letting me at the port of entry and do the same thing. Well, so what's she going to see? I mean, it's a giant Republican talking point nothing burger, magnified by the press. A nothing burger. That's what it is. Jose Aguilar, Mr. Kuck is the best likelihood for happening a DACA deal. Well, remember, they already offered that, Jose, and Trump turned it down. He turned it down. The best hope is attaching DACA, DREAM Act to reconciliation or a budget bill. That's the hope. I'm not holding out hope for that because I don't think the Democrats have enough spine to do it or leadership ability. I just don't think they will. Federal 23 will impact us. No. Scott, are there any updates of the U.S. Embassy in Bogota? Any chance the U.S. office to help Bogota? Well, my understanding is that the U.S. consulate in Barranquilla doesn't process visas, which means they would have no consular officers. There are different employees at the Department of State. Some work in trade, some work in commerce, some work in diplomacy, and some work in visas. If there's no visa employees there, they're not going to do any visas. So I don't know. But no word right now from Bogota other than that they've been closed because COVID sucks. And the political situation has become a nightmare in Colombia, tragically so. Abogado, tengo la visa. Puedo proceder. Sí. Bueno, sí, y también su permiso de trabajo. Okay. Si tiene la visa, ya podemos pedir a su esposo porque se cambió. Llama a la oficina y te podemos ayudar. Puedes llamar aquí y te ayudamos con esto, hermano. Eso sería un placer. Okay. We'll go unicorn. Thank you, Lucia. Got the unicorn picture. We'll go and reconsolidate it with what? Nobody's made a motion to consolidate. We're not going to consolidate it. Judge hasn't asked to consolidate it. I think the judge understands we don't want to be part of any other lawsuit. We're happy the way we are. Hola, se le podrá dar visado por correo, los queda poco tiempo. Hay que esperar hasta que tenemos la litigación exitosa. Why is everybody so worried about reps in the Senate? Yeah, well, that's the thing, all right? We can't even get Manchin to sign on this stuff. Republicans suck too, though. I mean, the idea that none of them will agree to this, man, whatever. See, regressives like Henry Quay are bankroll. Yeah, well, Exactly. But they still passed it out of the House. They have enough votes in the House for it. All right. Esther, what actually I want to know is, after we win, how long do they start scheduling an interview? Well, should be immediately. I mean, it took them about 4 days in the Gomez case. So, I mean, let's give them 4 days. I'll give them 4 days. No vaccine for you. I'll be honest with you. That's stupid. You know the only people dying of COVID right now in the United States? People with no vaccine. Yeah. So if you want to die, it's a good reason not to take the vaccine. Otherwise, take the damn vaccine. All right. Hi, Charles. Go is a letter from U.S. employees to become charge. It should be. It has been in the past. Any updates on court closings case? Don't know what that means, Deanna. I'm sorry. Can they approve you for advancement with doctor visit? Yes, absolutely, Mariela. We have done that, and we can help with that. Absolutely don't. What date is the hearing in the Gomez? There's no date. There would have been a date. There would have been a date. I agreed to a date, but my co-counsel didn't want a date. They wanted it earlier. Didn't get it earlier. Not going to be earlier. Might be later now. Sorry, not my fault. No se sabe nada del TPS para salvadoreños. ¿Estás hablando nuevo TPS? Yeah, no va. That's not going to happen. No va a pasar. Oscar Reyes, ustedes son mis abogados. ¿Cómo va a ser eso? Llama a su paralegal o abogado aquí y te ayudamos ahorita, Oscar. Okay. Andrei Stavlesky, good day. Nice to see you. Is DS allowed to be unlocked if you are a plaintiff? If you are referring to DV 2020, I think you have to wait until they notify you. Mohammed Semi, after Mr. Cook. Oh yeah, Mohammed, good to see you. We filed mandamus have to do their office on against Cairo Embassy. Well, that's interesting. We have the IR case assigned to a lawyer. Let me check. That Jeff is the principal lawyer there. Mohammed, let's see. I don't have time to check it live. You should reach out to Jeff, but I think we do have an assigned government lawyer. In fact, I'm 99% sure we have an assigned government lawyer. I know in the marriage cases, the IR cases, they just told us that everybody, but apparently one, is scheduled for September, which is too far away, but at least there's a date. But the F2Bs, I don't know, Mohammed, off the top of my head. I'm so sorry. Esther, good to know. There we go. You're welcome. Oh, yes, Kachapuri. I'm waiting for your Kachapuri. That would be awesome. What's the Gomez case you're talking about? Gomez is DV 2020. It's last year's case. No sabe nada de qué va a pasar con TPS ahora y que vence en octubre. Oh, van a extender TPS. No se preocupe de esto. TPS va a ser extendido, pero no van a poner un nuevo TPS por nueva gente. DV 2020 is proving that the bank statement sufficient to feel safe. Yeah, I think that's fine, Brendan. I don't think that'll be a problem. Abu Majid, that's our last question right now. What's the highest number that will be interviewed for Asia? My case is 6,000. It'll be in Abu Dhabi. I don't know what the number. That's a great question for Britt Simon. Here's what we know. They notified 71,000 people that they won DV 2021, or 73,000. Somebody won 73,000. There's an additional 60,000 derivatives. So basically, there's 130,000 people fighting for 55,000 positions. So no, I don't know how these numbers will be adjudicated, but one reason we don't want in the class is that we want all our plaintiffs to be adjudicated. If you're in a class, they will almost certainly do those in number order, whereas with individual plaintiffs, they will not. Let's see. Rebecca, how long are documents for new applications? Right now, about 4 months. About 4 months. Sometimes a little bit longer, but 4 months, it seems to be the average of the ones. We actually did a little survey in our office yesterday. They've been about 4 months. A couple have been faster. We had 1 and 2 months, but most have been 4 months. All right, everybody. Un placer de verles. It was a pleasure to be with you today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you just want to come in and talk to me or one of our 15 lawyers, because we don't have paralegals meet with people. We meet with a lawyer to go over your case, talk to you about the case, see what options you have. You call this number and set it up. You know, we're available. Look forward to talking and working with you. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.